Fun is subjective, and so is what people find relaxing. Some of you might have found the previous segment soothing, while others might have found it boring, and because of that, agitating. That's to say that what one person finds relaxing can be completely different than what you do. Thus, the reason why it's impossible to recommend relaxing video games to people. Because everyone's different. That's it. That's the video. Right? Wrong! That was like 5 seconds. Can't make that big YouTube money on a 5-second video. I mean, can't make that big YouTube money full stop. We're not even a monetized channel yet.
But look at how close we are! Only 983 subscribers and 3,985 public watch hours to go! So close!
So, I'm going to take some time to go over some of the hardships of recommending relaxing video games to people. And maybe along the way, we'll solve the problem. One of the main issues is that the word relaxing is a very easy word to fall into and get stuck on when describing video games to other people. I've had multiple experiences with people telling me to play a video game because they found it relaxing, but they would avoid telling me anything else about the video game. They would always say, "It's relaxing. You'll enjoy it," with nothing else. In fact, the word relaxing is a very commonly used user-defined tag on the Steam store.
It's relaxing? Why am I like this?
The problem with this is that relaxing is not a definitive term, like platformer or first-person shooter, where you have a better idea of what type of game you're getting.
Well, obviously, Winston, a relaxing game isn't justified by the game actually being relaxing to everybody, but instead the intent of the developer to create a relaxing game.
I mean, good point, but also, shut up. How am I supposed to get a clickbaity title and video if I use logical thinking? Also, the ant, or whatever, was right. And that's why this video isn't why video games labeled by people as relaxing should be burned at the stake for false advertisement. Though, that probably would get more people to watch. No. This is about why it's hard to recommend relaxing video games to people. It's educational. So pick up your pencils and take notes. There will be a test on this. It'll count for 75% of your final grade, there will be no bell curving, no rounding up, and whether you pass or fail, you're going to be stuck with tons of debt from student loans and thrust into an industry that isn't looking to hire anyone without at least 5 years of experience for well below livable wage. Back to the topic at hand. Unless a game is made by someone who knows what a person's particular preferences are, there's a good chance it's not going to hit the mark. In fact, even if a game is tailor-made for you, it's not a guarantee. Let me give you one example. This is a game called Apsu, one of my absolute favorite relaxing games. The whole purpose of the game is essentially to get from point A to point B of every section of the sea the game drops you into. The game is filled with spectacular visual scenery of the ocean floor, sometimes giving you up-close and personal experiences with multitudes of beautiful tropical fish in smaller, more enclosed spaces, while other times giving you a sense of the vast emptiness that is the ocean. The changes in lighting between being closer to the surface and the parts of the game where you're deeper in the depths make you feel warm or cold at all the right times. Essentially, you swim around at your own pace, taking in all the breathtaking scenery around you. There are loose story beats and progression for sure, but for the most part, the entirety of the game is meant to be a relaxing and fun experience. Now, you might be asking why I'm bringing this up. If this game is labeled as relaxing, and I had a relaxing and fun time while I was playing it, then how is it impossible to recommend a relaxing game? Well, remember when I said that unless a game is recommended to you by someone who really knows you and your personal preferences, it likely won't hit the mark? People who know me probably would not recommend this game to me. Why? Well, I'm really afraid of large bodies of water. Like, really, really afraid. Oh, jeez! Ah! Oh, why? Rivers don't really bother me as much. Okay. It's just a badly drawn cup of water. No! No! God, why would you do that?
See what I mean? No one who knows me would recommend me the game Absu, and because of that I would miss out on one of my favorite games. On top of that reason, a lot of relaxing games really toe the line between relaxing and boring because they don't offer enough to keep someone occupied. I think a good example of that is the game Mendagon.
It's a beautiful looking indie game where you explore a small 2D world, collecting certain artifacts to enter a door that is effectively the end of the game. There isn't really enemies, the platforming is pretty simple, it essentially never punishes you for anything. You go, you collect, you beat. For a lot of people, that isn't enough to keep a hold on them. While the reviews for this game on Steam are mostly positive, there is a fair sprinkling of negative reviews, saying they would have liked more to it. And honestly, there would probably be more of those types of reviews if this game wasn't completely free. Also, because whether a game is relaxing is so subjective, it can apply to any variety of games. Games like the two I stated above, which are varying levels of walking simulator, are nothing like the game Mini Metro, which is a simplistic puzzle game where you bring shape people from one platform to another using simple trains and tracks that you place yourself while more and more platforms pop onto the map. And puzzle games aren't exactly fun for everyone. Some people might even find it stressful, and for good reason too. I mean, look at this. And none of these games are really similar to the game A Short Hike either, where the game is about adventure and discovery as you climb up a mountain in a national park, based in Canada by the way, and conquer challenges and do quests along the way in a completely open world environment. And none of these past three games are anywhere near the same game as the game Coloring Game, which is actually the game that was the inspiration of the little skit in the beginning of the video, since I tried this game out to relax and I found it to be an absolutely stress-filled experience. You essentially just color in pixel art, but like, you can still color out of the lines, which means you can make backwards progress, which to me is not conducive to a relaxing time. All these games are labeled as relaxing with the user-defined Steam tag. And this is all just to say that relaxing games are incredibly varied, so just knowing a game was relaxing to you doesn't really give me any information about whether or not I want to play it. Now, where is the solution? I did say this was educational, right? Well, the solution is to not recommend games to people just based on whether you found them relaxing. Tell people how much you enjoyed the soundtrack. Tell them about the gameplay mechanics and how they worked. Tell them the visuals in the game are really eye-catching. Tell them the actual genre and explain to them why it was a good experience for you. And then tell them it was really relaxing and you recommend it. The reason the relaxing user-defined tag on Steam isn't an issue is because there are multiple other tags explaining what the game has to offer. Give them information so they can make a judgment themselves based on their own preferences, and don't judge them if they decide it's not the game for them. It's more effort, sure, and it requires you to be open to people not agreeing with you, but it's the only way to ensure that the other person knows what they're jumping into. And that's important, because knowing if a game is for you based on someone only saying it's relaxing is not just hard, it's impossible.